start from the beginning. Over the past 24 months, I've been able to focus 100% of my attention exclusively on Yandere Simulator. I haven't had any family emergencies or medical emergencies or jury duty or anything else that would take my focus away from the game's development. However, over the past 2 weeks, a lot of stuff has been going on in my personal life that took up a lot of my time and took a lot of my attention away from Yandere Simulator. It's actually kind of miraculous that I went for 2 years without having any major interruptions like this. I don't think that my YouTube channel is the right place to discuss personal issues, so I won't be elaborating about the problem here. In an average 2 week period, this is how I spend my time. Unfortunately, the time that I would have spent working on Osana was taken up by annoying personal garbage that I wish I didn't have to deal with. As a result, I don't have any exciting Osana progress to show you today, or any huge new features to show off today. It's very disappointing to me that the past 2 weeks worked out like this, but some things are simply out of my control. I just hope that you're not too disappointed. Although I didn't have the time to add something major to the game, I did make a bunch of minor additions and minor improvements to the game. I'll show you some of the noteworthy ones. Yandere-chan now has over 20 new hairstyle options. Yandere-chan can now get 1 meter closer to Senpai before she loses her composure. Hopefully, this will make Senpai less of an annoying obstacle. You can now obtain so that the corpse will not leave a blood trail when you drag it. Previously, Senpai would react to Yandere-chan's behavior while standing perfectly still, without moving his mouth. Senpai now reacts to Yandere-chan with expressive animations, and moves his mouth when he talks. The first 6 students that were added to the game now wear friendship bracelets on their wrists. And, if Yandere-chan commits murder with at least 4 witnesses present, she will be apprehended by those witnesses. The idea here is that a high school student with a weapon is only considered a threat if they are not greatly outnumbered. If Yandere-chan tries to commit murder in a crowd of people, she will quickly be overpowered and stopped by the nearest students. It's possible that, in the future, this will be balanced. For example, maybe witnesses won't be brave enough to apprehend Yandere-chan unless there is at least one student with a heroic personality nearby, making the first move. Or, perhaps students with a cowardly personality will never be brave enough to apprehend Yandere-chan, no matter how many people are present. Yandere Simulator is supposed to make you feel like a predator hunting down prey. However, each person at school is a potential victim, but is also a potential threat. Before, they could only report you to the police or ruin your reputation by telling others about your true nature. But now, they can also physically overpower you with superior numbers. As a result, you will have to pick your battles more carefully from now on. The list of things that were added or fixed this week would be longer if I had included everything that I added or fixed regarding Osana. But none of that information would be meaningful to you. I could tell you about the Osana-related bugs I fixed, but because I'm the only person in the world who has even experienced those bugs, I would just be telling you about stuff that you didn't even know existed in the first place. In short, I did get to make progress on Osana, but it's you about. Now, I'm going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 2. In MGS2, there's a bucket of ice. If you shoot this bucket, a bunch of ice cubes fall out. If you wait long enough, the ice cubes will actually melt. When I first saw this, it blew my mind. I was like, whoa, technology! Okay, back to Yandere Simulator. If you ask Osana if she needs help with anything, she will tell you that she lost her phone charm. If you don't find the missing charm, Osana's phone won't have a charm on it. But if you do find the missing charm and return it to Osana, then the charm will be visible anytime Osana takes out her phone. I want to put a lot of little details into the game to give people the same "whoa, technology" feeling that I got when I played Metal Gear Solid 2 and saw all of the attention to detail. This is one of the reasons why it's taking so long to implement Osana. I'm putting a lot of extra care into her average NPC. I always try to update the game on the 1st and 15th days of every month, although I'm usually one day late. On January 12th, I realized that I didn't have enough time to implement a significant new feature before my next deadline. Actually, this situation is nearly identical to something that happened exactly 1 year ago, when I wasn't able to make significant progress during the first 12 days of January, and tried to think of something cool I could prepare with only 2 or 3 days of time. It's super creepy how closely January of 2017 lines up with January of 2016. In January of 2016, when I only had 3 days to prepare an update, I used those days to create an Easter egg. This decision was heavily criticized because just 2 days prior to adding the Easter egg, I had released a video stating that I wanted people to be able to take Yandere Simulator more seriously. The decision to put a new Easter egg into the game seemed like a direct contradiction to everything I had just said in my previous video. Then, in January of 2017, I found myself in the exact same situation. With only 2 or 3 days remaining until my next deadline, I was faced with a choice. Do I make progress on something serious that wouldn't be ready in time for the next deadline? Or do I work on something fun that can be completed within 3 days? If I chose to work on something fun, I would run the risk of repeating history and sparking anger from people who don't want me to spend any time working on Easter eggs. Well, you know what? The past 2 weeks were really rough, and I wanted to do something fun. So, I hope you enjoy it. Activating this Easter egg requires the player to follow a few steps. I'll look forward to watching YouTubers try and figure it out. One way to think of Yandere Simulator is to think of it as something that is moving in a straight line towards completion. However, there's another way to think of Yandere Sim. Instead of thinking of it as a straight line, you can think of it as a circle that is growing outwards in multiple directions. Each week, the circle gets larger in one direction. As long as the circle eventually reaches its full size, it doesn't matter which direction it moves in on any given week. I wanted to make a video examining these two concepts. The concept of Yandere Simulator as a race towards a specific goal, and the concept of Yandere Simulator as something that ways. However, over the past 2 weeks, I simply didn't have enough time to make a video about this subject. Maybe I'll revisit this topic one day in the future. I'm sorry that I didn't have any exciting Osana progress or any huge new features